Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, and we're doing another Swiss Fate Reforged draft. I haven't put up a draft video for the last couple days because I went to a PTQ on Saturday. So I have a vlog, excuse me, a vlog that I recorded that you can check out. So I'll have the link on this video if you wanted to get my little round by round updates. Okay, onto the pack. Got Crucible of the Spirit Dragon. Nothing special there. I'm looking at like Orc Sure Shot or Lotus Path Gen, I think. This has Flying and Prowess, which is quite good. I like the Sure Shot quite a bit, though. They're both 4-drops, which are never like super exciting first picks, but I think they're the best cards in the pack. I like that Sure Shot's a creature that gives you some removal, and it's like actually well costed for a black creature, so I'll take the Sure Shot. I'm okay with that. Okay. Follow up pick. Well, I would say the Bathe in Dragonfire is the best choice amongst these cards. If I take it, I go down a Mardu path if I go 3-color, or I could just be black-red aggro. I did want to start building more aggressive stuff, which, by the way, Orc Sure Shot is still very aggressive. Goblin Boomkeg, yet to play it. I think it's a bit slow, but not a horrible card. I think I'd still prefer the Bathe in Dragonfire. I don't want to second pick an Angler, I don't think. And I could go down a black-white route and take like a Dragon Bell Monk or a Soul Summons, but I think I'm just going to take the Bathe in Dragonfire. Okay, so choices now are Typhoid Rats, which I think is probably the pick. Another Angler, Dragon Bell Monk is here. Nothing else super exciting. I think we'll just take the Rats. I like the cheap spells, and you don't, unlike Mardu Hateblade, you don't have to pay for the Death Touch, which is nice, but it's not a warrior at the same time, so you give and you take some. Okay, good white cards in here. Hooded Assassin is fine, not terribly exciting. Smoldering Efreet's not that great of a card. I don't think I want to 4th pick it. Even if I want to be aggressive, I'm not super impressed with that. Sky Captain, does that motivate me to want to focus on black-white and then maybe splash red? I mean, the thing is I'm not really giving up much of anything. I could take a Jungle Hollow and keep myself more open to just green picks, I guess, if they go later. Otherwise, what? I'm like giving up a Hooded Assassin, which isn't really a big deal. Hooded Assassin's good if I end up... actually, Hooded Assassin's good if I end up with some Outlast dudes that give abilities. I'm going to take the Jungle Hollow, keep my options a little bit more open if green's potentially open. Okay. Here I kind of want to just take Typhoid Rats number 2. I like it quite a bit. It's nice. Good blocker. Buys time. Fairly aggressive. Not super aggressive, but it seems like it's one of those 1-drops that's good at most points in the game. Except if you're getting beat down from flyers, but giving up another Angler and a Vanguard, I guess. I could do the Yeti, but I'm currently not in any colors that give it flash, where its powers really come in handy. Let's take a second Typhoid Rats. I think I'm comfortable with that. Not really giving up anything too bonkers in there. Grim Contest is quite good, but not with what we've currently got. Okay, so this is interesting. Could just take a green pick here, but they're not actually that good either. I think we're just going to take a Vanguard, which isn't really that good, but does dash potentially. Not a terribly exciting card, but if I can end up in something aggressive, I think it'll be good. I'm not sure how aggressive we're going to be, though, unless we start seeing some more interesting picks here. All right, well, that's a fairly late Harsh Sustenance. That might be the signal I finally need to just sort of bite the bullet and go into white. I mean, black-white is quite good. Karsi High Priest seems fine, but it's never amazing. Soul Summons is a good 2-drop, but I'd rather have the removal. And it keeps me Mardu colors for now. So it's just a good spell. Let's take it. Okay, Shadow Spear is good. If I want to be aggressive, that's pretty late too, so I like that. We'll take, I think we'll just take the Shadow Spear and continue. We're going to want a lot of cheap creatures. Aven Skirmisher is a cheap creature, but let's take the Bloodfell Caves instead. Help make this Bathe in Dragonfire and future red cards work a little bit easier. If I want to make that work. Got the Goblin Boomkeg back. There is a Dragon Bell Monk that tabled, which might be a decent signal. It does have Vigilance and Prowess, which is nice. Otherwise, it's like a Grey Ogre, but those are two pretty good abilities. I could play the Goblin Boomkeg. I've never played it. I think it's fine because you can hit the player with it, but I'm going to take the Monk just on sort of a hunch that I can make a black-white deck work and maybe splash the red. Alright, nothing terribly exciting here, so I guess we'll take a Crew Shock, just cut white a little bit. Abzan Advantage might be a sideboard option. And sure, we'll just continue to cut white, kind of let people we're passing to know that we'd like to be in those colors, perhaps. Not the greatest start. No real bombs. Some pretty decent cards. We have a cheap curve to start it off, which is nice. Packs 2 and 3. If I'm going to make something aggressive work, I'm going to need some really aggressive cards. So like Rush of Battle is going to be good with all this cheap stuff. And I guess some more warriors. If I'm in black-white, I get a lot of rewards for going more of a warrior route. Yeah, I guess we'll have to see. Abzan, Rune Mark. Yeah, potentially play it, but for now... I guess, Vigilance is actually pretty good with your little Typhoid Rats, but we'll just, oops, waited too long. But I don't think I necessarily want to main deck it, but we're getting some late white cards that are just, they're not great white cards, but they are, in fact, the late Harsh Sustenance is a pretty good signal, I would think. A very late Dragon Bell Monk, too. So, currently only have 2 warriors, which is a pretty low warrior count. But plenty of warriors to open in the cons packs, so we'll check that out. I would like to build something aggressive. I sort of mentioned on the last draft video and before that I think this format has gotten very fast. So I need to, I've just been in the Cons of Tarkir, triple Cons of Tarkir mindset for so long, where it's like just mid-range decks are the norm. There were like Mardu beatdown decks with cons, but Fate Reforged just made them so much better. Okay, well, open a good rare, but I don't want to jump into, I really want to focus on this black-white thing. Timely Hordemate seems like it's actually really good for our deck, but Skull Hunter might be a little more curve-wise what I'm looking for. Hordemate's a much better card, but if I could just focus on cheap black creatures, especially with 3 1-drops, Skull Hunter seems like it could be pretty good. Killshot's not really what you want to do in aggressive decks. Otherwise, it's a very good card. And Aerostorm is actually just a very good card, too, to burn the face with, but that's pretty deep red. I still think I'd rather focus on the black-white. Heavy accent on the black. You want your mana to be as easy as possible, as consistent as possible in your aggro decks. I think we're just going to open with a Skull Hunter, which is an unexciting first pick, I admit, but I'm going to go for the just having a very low curve in my deck, and I think that could potentially work out really well for us. Okay, so I could take Ponyback Brigade and maybe go for more of a tokens list, in which case cards like Harsh Sustenance, Rush of Battle, and Trumpet Blast are going to get much better. I've done those token builds before, and they're quite good. Otherwise, I could do Bitter Revelation, which is a fine card in general. Perfectly acceptable for aggro, but never like terribly exciting. And I don't really like Jeskai Student in this deck since we're creature heavy. you want more of a spell-heavy prowess deck for that. So, not exactly sure. I'm not sure if I want to go full-on Mardu. I do have a good red card and one red fixing already. But like I said, 3-color decks can be problematic. I probably take the pony back anyway because I'm not really giving up anything. Ride Down is a great card. I don't like how color insensitive it is based on what we have. And like I said, Bitter Revelation is actually a good card, but I think there's going to be upsides to pony back if we end up in Mardu, so I'll take that. I mean, it is a warrior at the very least. Okay, Horde Ambusher is quite good. Maybe we're going more of a black-red route. And then I just splash like a Harsh Sustenance. I don't even necessarily have to splash Dragon Bell Monk. Or I guess I have to splash Pony back too. I'm not sure. Horde Ambusher seems like it's the card for us if we're going the aggressive route. Monastery Swift Spear is fine. Once again, more of a better... if you have heavy removal, it's better, but we're heavy creatures, so I think Horde Ambusher seems more in line with what we're trying to do. All right. Convinced myself. Okay, Horde Mate, which currently brings back quite a few things. And Horde Mate with Skull Hunter is actually pretty amazing because you bring it back and they have to discard again, which is nice. There is a War Shrieker, though, which is also very good. And I did say it seems like this way red's a little bit more open than white. Although, I mean, we open a Horde Mate and we're getting past a Horde Mate now, which is quite good. But the question is, would I prefer? I think I'd prefer to focus on. Although Horde Mate with Sure Shot is also quite good. I guess the pony back with Sure Shot is huge too. I need to mention that. Like any token-based thing is going to be pretty amazing with Sure Shot. Even War Shrieker is quite good with Sure Shot. I probably take the War Shrieker. It at least like gives me an option to flip the pony back, I guess. I'm not sure. It's a little bit tough. I do like War Shrieker in aggressive deck, so it's pretty important card. Okay, I think we're missing here, which is unfortunate. Just maybe take the red card. I don't think we've got enough stuff that gets counters, or if anything with counters really, to reward us for anything else. But Goblin Slide looks pretty bad in this deck, but so does everything else in this pack, so I guess we'll just take it. Alright, Mardu Charm and Mardu Rough Rider are good signs that Mardu's open. So I probably just take the Charm. I do love the Rough Rider, but I'd prefer to have a very good removal spell that's as versatile as Mardu Charm. So I think we're taking that. At this point, I am going to have to make my mana base work if I want to be successful with this deck. So I'm going to have to prioritize fixing, but second War Shrieker is also fine. We have quite a few 3-drop spells I can cast off of it already. Although Vanguard dashing off of it, not so good. All right, Bloodfire Expert's fine in this deck. It's it's well costed for its power. Prowess isn't going to have huge rewards in this deck, but I think it's going to be fine. Otherwise, I could take the Bring Low, but I actually like more stuff that War Shrieker can hit. And actually, War Shrieker into a Mardu Charm's not bad either. All right, excellent time to pick up a Bloodfell Caves. We really kind of need this. Barrage of Boulders is going to be good with your Bloodfire Expert, but not much else in this deck. I guess it's good with Sure Shot too, but let's take the Bloodfell Caves pretty easily there. Okay, we can take Ride Down since it tabled. Otherwise, I'm taking a much less powerful card, so I'm actually okay with Ride Down. But once again, at this point, our mana base is going to be problematic if we don't pick up some more fixing. So 2 pieces isn't a bad start with 16 cards, but and we do actually look pretty aggressive, which is what I wanted. I think we are. I mean, we're definitely getting cut in the colors that we're trying to succeed with here, but I mean, we have a decent start. I'm trying to think what this deck really needs. It needs some more high impact stuff. Like I need Trumpet Blast and Rush of Battle to really take advantage of our tokens and creatures and stuff. So usually those aren't difficult to pick up, but kind of haven't spotted any yet. So this last pack is going to be a bit difficult, actually. We need both fixing and we need good high-impact creature reward stuff like Rush of Battle and Trumpet Blast. So could have some issues here. Here I think we kind of need the Windscarred Crag if we want to take full advantage of our white spells. And I'm not really giving up too much for it. Einak Bondkin's fine 2-drop, but we're having difficulty deciding, I mean, we almost need to sort by color. Yeah, I think at this point we want to focus on the red, black, and then splash the white. So Dragon Bell Monk is probably not going to get the nod. And that definitely means Einok Bonkin is not for this deck, unfortunately. But Windscarred Crag is definitely a fine pickup, so we'll take that. Okay, I can take Scoured Barons here. I like the Abzan Battle Priest, and I like the Sultai Scavenger too. I think I'm still going to take Scoured Barons. We're kind of a mix of three colors. And as much as I don't like having a bunch of Enter the Battlefield tapped lands, but at the same time, I want my mana base to succeed, since I think we're just going to be forced to do three color. I mean, I could take the, yeah, I think at this point we're just dedicated to three color, and I'm probably going to cut the Monk. So if we take the Scoured Barons, it actually is going to be of immense help to our deck, I think. Okay, now the choices are Horde Chief, which I think is just a snap pickup for us. I actually like the Falconer quite a bit. I guess the Horde Chief, since it's white, might be a bit awkward, but with I don't know. Otherwise, I have to take a Windscarred Crag, and we're quite a few cards short of an actual deck yet. Although, if I take the Windscarred Crag, maybe I can make the Bell work. I feel like Mardu Horde Chief's going to be really amazing alongside like War Shrieker, though. All right, I'm taking the Horde Chief. It's just such a good aggressive card. I think that's the main reason to take it. Okay, so there's High Spire Mantis now, which is another 4-drop. Makes me a little bit uncomfortable. Chief of the Scale's a 2-drop that works well with our warriors, of which currently there's really not too many. It works well with the Horde Chief. I'd rather have the actual aggressive one. There is a Bloodfire Expert, and we already have Barrage of Boulders, so I could, since we just don't seem to be seeing Trumpet Blasts or Rush of Battles, I could go for more of the Barrage of Boulders route, which is fine. Chief of the Scale's a bit too color intensive in our non-focused colors, I think. I mean, the reason to take the Horde Chief is because it's a good card, but I mean, there's Feat of Resistance in here too. It's kind of difficult. This is a difficult draft. I think I'm going to take the less color intensive Bloodfire Expert and try and focus on red-black, but it is getting difficult. All right, well, I actually like Deflecting Palm, but we're going to slam the Raider Spoils. It at least is very good alongside our already warrior cards and our Ponyback Brigade. So Raider Spoils, I think, is just something this deck really needs to increase our impact. But I actually do like Deflecting Palm, and a second Horde Chief would be insane alongside the Raider Spoils, but you gotta take the Raider Spoils. Okay, I guess we take Alabaster Kieran. Could take the Tormenting Voice, I guess, since I'd prefer to be a 17-land deck. I wish our curve wasn't getting so high. I feel like we've just seen no cheap spells at all. Yeah, at least on-color ones. Yeah, it's been pretty problematic. I wanted to build aggressive, and I feel like I'm having some pretty major issues here. Yeah, and suddenly, like, black gets cut too, so we're really competing with everybody in our colors, which is unfortunate. I mean, Kieran might be the best. Guess I'm taking it. Not terribly excited by it. Nothing here really excites me either. Guess I could take Rite of the Serpent. Not very exciting. I think at this point we probably are Barrage of Boulders deck, sadly. It is sadly too, because I wanted to be a more of a token-based damage deck, but you can't always get what you want. Alright, I guess we take Rite of the Serpent at this point. Otherwise I take Bitter Revelation, another 4-drop, which is fine, but guess I'd rather have a removal spell, I don't know. Scavenger is a good wheel at least. We have enough cheap stuff where I can wheel or trade with stuff. Could take a second pony back too. Our rewards for tokens are Raider Spoils and Orc Sure Shot. Pretty much nothing else. Did not see one. Yeah, really did not see any Trumpet Blasts or Rush of Battles this whole time. Very surprised by that. Guess we'll take the Scavenger because it flies. This doesn't fix for any of our colors, so that doesn't seem good. None of these cards seem very good for us. Maybe we are a kind of bad 18 land deck. I don't know. Don't like this deck very much. Just kind of low impact, not aggressive enough. Yeah, did not pan out the way I had hoped it would in the first few picks, unfortunately. None of these cards matter. I guess I'll take a Tracker. It's more aggressive. Goblin Slide's not very exciting for this deck, but none of these cards are very good. So whatever. Bloodsucker doesn't really do anything for us. Swift Kick, not all that good. Guess I'll take a Bloodsucker anyway. I don't really need a Shambling Attendant so much. None of these cards matter for us. Guess I'll take this. Alright, well, so we managed to compete probably with every other drafter at the table for what we're trying to do. Maybe I want to just play Lightning Shrieker at this point. Get at least one high impact. Yeah, if I want to be aggressive, I'd probably play a Lightning Shrieker. And what do I cut for it? I don't even know. It's a good question. How many things do I have to activate Barrage of Boulders in this deck? Just 2 Bloodfire Experts. That's pretty much it, right? That is it. And it works Sure Shot, so 3 cards in the deck. Maybe Barrage isn't good enough. So we play this with 18 lands and call it a mediocre deck. See what we can do. Yeah, so this deck turned out to be a pretty big disappointment, but it's not like the worst deck I've ever drafted in my life. It's just not exciting. This is a very, rare-driven format, and I think we managed to pick up 0 on color rares. I wanted to be aggressive. We really don't have that much of an early aggressive plan, which is a big bummer. Only saw 1 Skull Hunter, which is certainly a big bummer. We got 1 Horde Chief, but our mana base is kind of skewed, so there really is, I can't think of any positive aspect of this deck that I'm willing to brag about. There really is like no brag-worthy aspect of this deck at all, which is a bad sign typically, especially when you're trying to be aggressive and you don't even have like a good aggressive start. So I don't anticipate doing very good with this deck because it looks very underwhelming on almost every front, including mana base. So don't expect to do great, but I'm going to try my best. At least it's my first time playing Lightning Shrieker, so we'll see if that card's any good. I have a feeling it's not all that good, but it gets 5 damage in. Maybe that's what I need, since I don't really have all that much else going on. Removal is pretty lackluster. We didn't pick up any Bitter Revelations because I was hoping to pick up more, just focus more on cheap creatures and stuff, which we didn't really do. I guess Horde Ambushers, possibly another 2-drop. If I've got like a Horde Chief, I can maybe get on line turn 3. I guess Raider Spoils is probably the most powerful card in the deck since it makes our creatures better. Sure Shot's up there, our first pick, but overall I'd rate this deck pretty low. I'd probably rate it maybe 5 out of 10, something like that. About that low, unfortunately. So I've won with mediocre decks before, so there's a chance, but it's just, it's pretty low impact. Mix of 3 colors, which is just never really what you want, unfortunately. But that's okay. We'll try our best with it. I'm just going to have to make some focused decisions, get some good hands, and hopefully have it pan out for me. We'll bring in our lands for now. I mean, we could theoretically get away with 17 because we top out at like 6, but because we're like an unhealthy mix of 3 colors, I think we probably need 18 lands, as much as I loathe to say that. There really isn't even incentive to go 17 lands. I don't even have like a 23rd card that's worthy of mentioning. Like maybe Dragon Bell Monk, which isn't even that good. I guess you can play it off a War Shrieker, but it's not even like, it's actually pretty bad for our deck. I mean, we have like 3 or 4, we must have more than that, like maybe 6 spells that actually trigger prowess, so it's like a Grey Ogre with Vigilance most of the time, which is just really underwhelming. Maybe I want the Abzan Rune Mark, because this deck is likely that bad where that might actually do something. At least make me beat down a little bit early on. I could see that maybe doing something. But we don't even have evasion, which I don't like. Oh my god. This deck is worrisome, guys. This deck is real worrisome. All right, let's sort by color again. So I guess I need to focus on black, right? And then white's what we need the least of, but we still kind of need it early. I probably try and get away with 5 sources of white. So 3 more white. Let's see what that does. They say 4 more white. Well, this would be 6 white, 9 black, 7 red. I think I want to do 5 and 9 black. Although maybe well, I kind of need black early, so 9 seems correct, but I could go 8-8-6. 8-8-6 might make more sense. I probably have enough white in this deck where I need it relatively early, especially for Horde Chief and stuff. Ride down maybe. So this would be, yeah, is this right? What's 8 sources black, 8 sources red, 6 sources white. All right, I think we're going to try this. Like I said, pretty bad deck. Probably one of the most underwhelming I've drafted in Fate Reforged. I don't anticipate doing great with this deck. Just really couldn't even find Rush of Battles and Trumpet Blast, which is pretty depressing. But that's okay. I think we got to try it like this. This is probably the best I can do with this deck. Yeah, just very unexciting, unfortunately. But we'll try our best. We'll see how we do. And I'll see you round 1.